Welcome to the Patriotic Pulpit. I am Bill Lockwood. I want to look for a few moments at the Constitution of the United States, only from the viewpoint of what is going on with USAID, as well as many other programs of government fraud, abuse, and waste, and the great job that Elon Musk is actually doing by exposing this. Now, here's one of the things that just amazes me, and that is, how in the world is it the case that the Democrats are absolutely losing their minds, and all that is going on is that Elon Musk is auditing the government agencies to see how we've spent our money? Everyone in here, everyone listening, everyone in America is going to be audited coming up in April 15th. We have to report every penny that I've spent and every penny that I've made. I have to report it to the government. That is a crushing, onerous, unconstitutional burden that violates the Fourth Amendment. And yet, the government agencies are giving away money faster than we can even make it by printing more and therefore devaluing our dollar. Elon Musk and Donald Trump are showing it to be the case, and the Democrats are losing their little minds, and little minds they are. So let's think for just a moment. What constitutional provision is there that allows or gives the government, our government, by the people, the authority to give away $1 to foreign nations? There is no constitutional principle. It was considered to be unconstitutional for the first 150 years of our nation because the Constitution only granted so many limited powers to the federal government, approximately 20, Article 1, Section 8. But the internationalists of the world, aka socialists, beginning with Woodrow Wilson, and it would be in its incipient form, no doubt, could not wait to give our money, give our wealth away to foreign nations. Consequently, not only getting us involved in world wars, but they also invented all of these World Bank schemes to graft the American money off of the back of the American taxpayer and give it away to other nations. That's what's happened. That's exactly what happened, for example, after World War II. We have the World Bank created, the International Monetary Fund created. These were created in secret meetings involving the FDR administration, in which they wanted, and they stated, Harry Dexter White stated bluntly that his goal was to get the money out of the American taxpayer pocket and give it to other nations, because he says it's not fair. It's not fair that they don't have money. Well, you know what? We have wealth in America because wealth is created by unleashing the freedom of the American people. That's what creates wealth. And it's not going to be remedied by stealing from the American people and giving to another nation. So they created the IMF, International Monetary Fund, that launders money internationally to go around the world. Not only so, but we've funded our peacekeeping troops through the United Nations everywhere in the world. Unconstitutional may it be, but that's the way what's been going on. Then we have the World Bank, also created to do the same thing. But when it came to John Kennedy's administration, we could not give away our money fast enough. Our leaders wanted to create a system that we could put on the grease skids how to get rid of our money and take it from the American taxpayer, give it to foreign nations. Shut down USAID. Shut down USAID. What Elon Musk is doing is showing a bright spotlight on what's going on. That's why the left hates Elon Musk. That's why he's getting death threats. I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we have lost control of our government. Donald Trump's trying to get it back in control, and this is what's the result. So let's think about USAID for just a moment. This is an article written by Selwyn Duke called USAID is History's Largest Criminal Fraud Operation, and here's a shocking list of abuses. Ponder the following examples, he says, of your tax money at work. USAID, U.S. Agency for International Development, paid almost $2 million to empower transgender organizations in Guatemala. It spent $1.5 million to promote LGBTQ diversity agenda in Serbia. It also reportedly allows at least $151 million in aid money to go to terrorists in Gaza and the West Bank. And here's what's even worse, too. Far from being anomalies, this reflects the long-standing USAID abuses. And if you want to know why the left has been so politically and culturally powerful for so long, part of the reason is that it entitles, or the entities, I should say, such as USAID, have been funding hard left causes for decades. And again, with money extracted from the Americans at, metaphorically speaking, the end of a gun. And wait till you see the short list further down, which we have here, of the organization's malevolent use of those funds. Now, journalist Todd Starnes introduces story 2 weeks ago, writing this: Elon Musk now estimates our federal government has squandered some $700 billion per year on fraud and more than $1 trillion on waste. That's a major reason why we are now $36.4 trillion in debt. Quote, right now the main focus of Elon and his Doge team has been USAID, which has been now revealed as a multi-billion-dollar slush fund for the left-wing causes. It's being described as the single largest criminal fraud operation in history. And that is all at the expense of the American taxpayer, because the American people have been so blind to vote the Democrats continually into office. And this is what you get. This is what you get. Not one thing constitutional, not one thing moral about it. It's a money laundering scheme. So, Selwyn Duke writes this. He said, read this and weep. Examples of what USAID has used our money for are mind-boggling and maddening. According to commentator Andrea Whitberg, who provides the short list, the organization paid $20 million to the hard-left Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors. That's a 501c3 that manages at least $200 million in annual fund disbursements. Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors, in turn, funded Bill Kristol, a wealthy man whose reason to exist in 2016 has been to destroy Trump. So USAID gives money to the Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisor organization, a 501c3, and they in turn give it to Bill Kristol, who's trying to destroy Trump, because Bill Kristol is an internationalist first and foremost, not an American, an internationalist. That's what's going on here. It also funded myriad organizations pushing leftist ideology such as BLM, climate change, DEI, illegal immigration, LGBTQ+. That is, Rockefeller Philanthropy Advisors receives $20 million. Then they turn and give it to Bill Kristol. They give it to Black Lives Matter, climate change. What a scam. President Trump, I'm so proud of the man. He says the first time someone actually tells the truth, and it's just so hard, you're going to have to, you're going to have to hold the nose of the Democrats to make them swallow the medicine, because it's just, it's not cut with water, and he says it. It is, climate change is a scam. That's a big scam. DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, illegal immigration. It also paid $1 billion to the association Lambda to strengthen transgender organization in Guatemala. 1.4 to an organization to advance LGBTQ plus diversity in Serbia. It canceled $237 million in contracts for work in Afghanistan, but still paid $61 million for that work that was not performed, and $74 million for work with questionable results. It paid $70,000 for DEI musical in Ireland. It paid $30 million to study HIV in Africa among sex workers, especially so-called transgender sex workers. This money seems to have been used for chemically and surgically mutilating mentally ill Africans. How do you like that? That's what's going on with USAID. Directly and indirectly funneled $200 million to the Wuhan Institute of Virology and introduced COVID-19 to the world by your money from USAID. How do you like that? Plus, in the years since October 7 attack on Israel, USAID sent around $420 million to the Gazans and West Bank persons without any assurance that would be kept from terrorist organizations, which includes Hamas. So now we've supplied money that gives to Hamas. Absolutely, this is treasonous, is what it is. So let me just back up. There's a lot more on the list here. You've heard a lot of it already on the news. If you haven't, then you're watching the wrong news. I'll tell you that right now. But I want you to think for just a moment. This is why our founding fathers begged us and wrote it in the Constitution to keep government as much as possible at a local level, because you can control that. But once you get further away from the individual, you can't control it. And that's exactly what's happened when we have government going to the federal agencies in Washington, D.C. We can't control now what's going on. And all of a sudden, we have Donald Trump and Elon Musk shedding the spotlight on this absolute fraud upon the American taxpayer. And yet, the Democrats are defending that. I don't know how it is that anyone reading a list like this can say, well, I can stay in the Democratic Party. I like Kamala Harris. I can't see how that can possibly be. I like Barack Obama. How can people say that? That to me is, I don't know, it's you know, it is so mind-bending to see how this is actually occurring in America. But what has actually happened is mass brainwashing against the American people. And it's done by the mainstream media, the ABC, NBC, CBS News. We have got to stop this. So I say shut down USAID, shut down any foreign aid. I know Marco Rubio said, well, we're going to go through the list and see ones that are not legitimate. Well, shut it down. Because all we are doing now is putting it off till the next administration, who may be a good guy or a bad guy, we don't know. But seeing how the bad guys have been in operation and in control for the last 50 to 75 years, maybe we ought to just shut it down right now. The American people, I believe, want no more of this. Shut down USAID.